Hello and welcome to another Warriors Den recap. This week we're going to kick it off with the DDOS that is happening. It is still happening, but mostly mitigated. It started on Saturday, and if anyone tried to play over this last week, you'll definitely have noticed the servers have been down more than they've been up. They've got it partially under control, and it affected all of Ubisoft's online teams. They have partial mitigation implemented, and you can't exactly mitigate a DDoS 100%, but you can sure as hell try. So as compensation for that, we have 1000 steel, 10 XP boosts, and 2 scavenger crates for anyone who has played in the last month. The reason it didn't come sooner is you can't really distribute compensation if the attacks are still happening. If the attacks do continue to interrupt gameplay, we will be getting more compensation maybe. They're not 100% sure on that because it's not 100% fixed. Then this upcoming weekend, we have a community workshop happening at Ubisoft headquarters. They're going to be focusing on Wulin hero balance as well as breach balance. So they'll be getting tons of detail from them and tons of good feedback. These are the guys who usually do feedback and then make balance changes that actually matter. So hopefully that means Wulin heroes are going to be getting fixed balance-wise. Now, of course, none of you are actually at Ubisoft headquarters this weekend, so you care about what's happening for you to play. We get Realistic Dominion for this week. That is Dominion with gear stats disabled, no revives, and no fight widget, so your UI is cut down and you have to actually read the opponents. For those of you who really like playing Armusha, go jump into Realistic Dominion because nobody can block you. To pair exceptionally well with this Dominion, we have a Dominion order of play as many Dominion matches as possible for your faction. The winning faction will get 2000 steel, second place 1500, losers get 1000. And this also applies to the event playlist, so you can play Realistic Dominion and contribute to your faction. Moving onward, we have the content of the week. It is called Falling Feathers, and it is available now. And to finish off the Warriors Den, we had a Q&A. I'll cover a couple questions here. And to start, we have a question based on more of a statement, which is when designing new heroes, they've said that they look at both balance and how frustrating they are to play against, so will they be going back to look at Centurion at all? Roman's answer is, in his point of view, they've made a lot of changes to him to be more interesting to play against. He has a lot more visible moves now, and some of these moves take a bit too much time, so they're looking at that, but there's no plan to rework Centurion at this time. If you think he's unfun, he may just be unfun. Will you be returning old events to the game in the future? The answer to that is maybe. Many items have been removed from the game. Is there any word on when these will be returning? Tournament rewards were looked at, and they will be returning maybe. They're looking at a way to properly implement them. As for event items, you have to be here when the event happens. In my opinion, the way they said this, it sounded a lot like they were confirming that events will be returning. So like Apollyon's Legacy will happen again in January 2019, but they didn't confirm that. Do you ever plan on giving us more orders? They have some improvements for the order system planned, but that's long term. As for right now, no. We currently have daily orders and contract orders, which are every other day orders, which is more than enough in their opinion. Why are there so many free roam emotes but no combat emotes? The answer to that is we're working on it. We've noticed it too. It's easier to be creative with a non-combat emote because you don't have to look at something specific, and they'll be doing more combat emotes in the future. And then this one I think is pretty important because we haven't had confirmation on it, and the breach test didn't have this. Will the Wulin faction have Chinese voice lines? The Wulin are going to be the same as other characters, which means all lines that are triggered as fight moves will be in Chinese. The rest of the lines from feats and triggered event things will be in English. That's how the other characters work, and the Wulin won't be any different. Will there be a breach test on console? Damien says hopefully, because he's on console, but they don't know for sure. I would personally bet on a no. They might put one up as more of a demo closer to release, but that would be a polished state and not a test. Is there a possibility for cross-platform account data ever? It's not easy to do, but they would like to do it. It'll take some time, and it'll be done by the same team that makes other features people want, like custom dedicated servers, so it will be quite a while before that gets done. It's been a repeated request though, and they are aware of it. What shape will the Wulin faction emblem be? It'll be released later, and to take Damien's words, take a guess based on our released assets. The Wulin won't be a pickable faction at release either, so they won't have an emblem until after they come out. And as a final question, how will the Wulin characters be unlocked? It will be very similar to how post-launch heroes work. There will be a Marching Fire expansion that you can purchase for real money, or you can unlock the heroes with steel. They don't have a set price yet. He specifically avoided that on both things, but he did bring up that they will have 14 days, 2 full weeks of exclusivity for the purchased option. So that's pretty neat in my book. If you get a whole 2 weeks to try out the heroes before other people do, if you pay money, that does add quite a bit of incentive, and we do know that paying money gets you this PvE mode that is currently undisclosed. So maybe paying for the Wu Lin faction is a pretty good deal. But I suppose before I say it's too good of a deal, I kind of need to know how much it's going to cost. Because if it's going to cost 60 or something dollars for just the heroes and the PvE mode, that's a substantial steep price here. But if it's like $25, $30, I can see the value in picking that up. As this isn't a full season pass like the first one was, you won't get a year of updates, you will simply buy the expansion and get all of it day one. I don't know if they'll be approaching this with the same mentality as a season pass is, and making it a $40 thing. I would love to be right on that, because I don't really want to give them 40 bucks, but that's just my opinion. So I think that about wraps up today's Warriors Den stream. As always, thank you for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you on the battlefield.